Hello and welcome to Look North, the main news from our region this lunchtime. A woman who was abused by a group of men in Bradford says the city must be included in the government's latest inquiries into grooming gangs. And new plans to lure TV and film viewers off their sofas to visit famous filming locations in North Yorkshire. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. A woman who was sexually abused by groups of men while living in a children's home in Bradford says the city must be one of the areas included in the local inquiries into grooming gangs. 9 men were convicted of abusing Fiona Goddard when she was a teenager in care. Yesterday, the government announced there'll be a rapid national review and also 5 local inquiries. Fiona, who's waived her right to anonymity, has been speaking to our Home Affairs correspondent, Emma Glasby.
It's hard because as much as I welcome inquiries, I don't feel unless the government are going to force the councils to do them, places like Bradford have already made it clear that they don't want to do an inquiry into themselves. So the government can't just leave it down to the local councils to decide on if they're going to be investigated. They're going to have to enforce it. They're going to have to still play active roles in it. They can't just pass it on and forget about it. They're going to have to be really active. I also think the other issue is these local inquiries need to promise that there's going to be accountability for the professionals that did do wrong, because I was in the care home and I was getting abused. After about 4 months of me getting abused, social services, the police force, the care homes, all of them were fully aware, and I was told it was my lifestyle choice and I had to go and deal with it.
You've seen the politicians discussing and debating this issue over the last few weeks. How has that made you feel?
For me, I don't like being used as a political pawn, because that's what I feel like it is. I don't think any of them have anyone's best interests at heart. It's all a political game. I also don't think it should have taken Elon Musk getting involved to have people talking about it. I think this should have been front and centre of MPs' minds anyway. Unless they speak to the victims and find out how we feel and what we've actually been through, then I don't think they can make an educated decision, and they shouldn't really be speaking for us.
Fiona Goddard there speaking to our correspondent Emma Glasby. Well, if you've been affected by sexual abuse or violence, details of help and support are available via the BBC Action Line at bbc.co.uk/action line. Detectives investigating a sexual assault that's reported to have happened on board a train between Leeds and Doncaster have released these CCTV pictures of a man they want to speak to. A woman was allegedly assaulted in the evening of Friday the 13th of December. Anyone who recognises this man is asked to contact British Transport Police. A song and a music video have been made featuring care home residents and staff in North Yorkshire.
Yes, our memories fade, but when all of those threads come undone.
It's called Who Cares, and it's produced by the Independent Care Group, which represents social care providers in North Yorkshire. It's performed by the Ivor Novello nominated singer-songwriter Boo Hewardine. The producer says he wanted to show the care sector in a more favourable light.
Well, we've had a lot of very positive responses from the care homes. There's lots of people saying they're all in tears, or they were all in joyful tears. But it was just, I think it's just nice for them to see themselves portrayed in such a positive way.
The city of Ripon is advertising for its new horn blower. The horn has been blown every evening for more than 1,000 years. It's a tradition believed to date back to 886 AD, when King Alfred the Great gave Ripon a horn to be sounded if there was any potential threat to the city. Get your applications in. On to sport, and the newly appointed captain of England's women's rugby union team, Zoe Aldcroft from Scarborough, says she will lead by example during what promises to be quite a year for her team and her sport. The Red Roses will be aiming for a 4th successive Grand Slam in the spring, and then in the summer England will host the Women's Rugby World Cup, with several matches being played in York.
Obviously it's a nerve-wracking side, like can I do this, like am I going to be the right person for the job? But then I think like within, like I am so motivated to kind of drive this team to where we want to go, and I think I'm surrounded by so many great leaders in the leadership team and also just the girls in general. We've got so many great individuals. I think we can really drive this team to something phenomenal.
Now, what have Mission Impossible 7, All Creatures Great and Small and the Harry Potter films all got in common? Well, parts of them were shot in North Yorkshire. A new tourism campaign has just been launched to encourage people to visit the filming locations and see them for themselves, as Mark Denton reports.
The world of James Herriot in Thirsk. Last year, over 45,000 fans of the series came here, but perhaps few are as committed as superfans Lee and Chai, who travelled 7,500 miles from Taiwan just to be here.
It helps us to understand England countryside, so it's very wonderful. It's real. It's like, oh my, it's real life here.
All the items here are from the TV series, but in fact there are over 100 different locations up and down the county that featured in the series. But All Creatures Great and Small is by no means the only production that's had locations and filming in North Yorkshire. From Brideshead Revisited to Harry Potter and the Mission Impossible movies, North Yorkshire locations have featured in many feature films and productions. Now, North Yorkshire Council has launched a campaign to attract visitors to those filming locations.
We have hundreds of these locations, and of course over the years film companies have identified that they fit in very nicely into their scenarios as well. We know from research that people who enjoy the programmes on TV also enjoy driving around the area and actually identifying the house, the scene, the bridge, the river, whatever, where a piece of the action has happened. So we think it's only right that we should actually help to promote that.
With North Yorkshire's landscapes now increasingly being seen worldwide, visitors who've admired them on screen so far are being encouraged to see them for themselves. Mark Denton, BBC Look North, Thirsk.
Finally, this lunchtime, the Yorkshire Wildlife Park is celebrating the first birthday of a critically endangered black rhino. Just have a look at this. This is Rocco. He's doing really well despite the cold weather in Doncaster at the moment. Don't know what he thinks of his #1 balloon there. Rocco is part of an international breeding programme attempting to revive the species. Great stuff. Keely's here. We love a cute animal story, and I think we said the same thing a year ago when he was born.
Yes, and actually I helped bring Najuma, his mum, over from Germany. So
they're
used to cold weather, and it is getting colder as we head through the weekend. Quite a bit of cloud around in the forecast, and also some mist and fog in places too. So this afternoon, dry conditions, variable amounts of cloud, and as we head through the rest of the afternoon, it'll be pretty similar. So you can see on the satellite picture, even though there's quite a bit of cloud, it's thin across some parts of Yorkshire, so we have got some brighter skies in places. As this area of high pressure starts to ebb away eastwards, we'll draw up colder air across the continent, so we are looking at temperatures being suppressed over the weekend below average. By Sunday, some places may stay sub-zero. So out there this afternoon, variable amounts of cloud. It's thin in places, allowing some brighter skies. Some places will stay in thicker cloud throughout the afternoon. A breeze will be light and temperatures about average, if not a little above for the time of year. So through this evening, low cloud will develop quite widely. Where there are any breaks, we may well get some patchy mist and fog in places. And it's going to be a coldish night, depending on those cloud breaks, but we'll still get back to 1 or 2 degrees, with some spots dropping back to freezing. So tomorrow, a grey start to the day. I think the mistiness, the low cloud will lift, and we'll see an improvement through the day. Quite a bit of cloud through the morning. It may take a bit of time for the sunshine to get going, but we should see brighter skies through the afternoon. Temperatures only 4 or 5 degrees colder than that on Sunday, Dave.
Thanks very much indeed. That's it. We're back at 6:30, but now we'll go back to Sarah Campbell for the rest of the BBC News at 1. From us, have a great weekend. Bye for now.